Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Ed. We're here one more time. No, actually I have one more week, next week, but it doesn't matter. Tonight is gonna be a real humdinger. Got some great humdinger. I haven't said that word in a long time, but we have some great guests, as I say every week. We have some great guests coming on, and they're gonna tell you some things that are very interesting. In fact, if you have any youngsters in your house or around, you might just want to have them look at this show because we're going to give you some really, really important information. Before we do that, I have to give my big ups, all right, to Peggy and Dorothy and Nurse Diane, Nurse Linda out at McGuire VA Hospital. And we have a real surprise getting ready to come up for you folks. I think I had mentioned to you that we were doing I don't know if you want to call it a drama or whatever. Actually, it's just a nice report we did on the VA hospital, McGuire VA Hospital, that I talk about so much. I want to give you 1 minute, all right, just to take a look at what's coming so you'll know that it'll be running on this station. And I think we can do that. Akil, can we do that, you think? I say Akil, a lot of folks don't know how much goes into these, even a little simple program like this. We have two of the best producers in the block right here, Akil and Dwali. And Dwali is from Hawaii, so he's got one of those cool Hawaiian names. But they do a real good job. We'll be going in a minute. When we're ready, let's go and air it. This is a very, very special edition of Conversations with Ed. Those of you in the Richmond area who've been watching my show, Conversations with Ed, for the last year, know that I always open up talking about McGuire VA Hospital. I'm a wounded warrior myself, having served with the 101st Airborne and the 7th Special Forces. I'm a patient at this hospital, as I have been at several other VA hospitals in the systems. Without a doubt, this is the very best hospital in the system, and it's time for you folks and you guys out there to know what's available to you and what you can be taking advantage of. We're going to give you a tour. We're going to take you around the whole hospital to show you the different sections, the different clinics, the operating rooms. We're just going to give you a whole concept of how wonderful this circumstance is. And just take a look, if you can, at that sign, and you'll see why this place is so important. All right, so that's what's coming. I hope you guys, gals and viewers out there, will get the opportunity to see it. I'm sure the network is going to run it more than one time. On that note, the guests that we do have for you tonight, one of them is affiliated with the hospital in a very powerful way, I guess you could say, and he'll be here in a second. Meanwhile, I'm going to introduce you to his partner and partner in crime, as they say. Let's give you I can't talk tonight, excuse me, folks, okay? An introduction to Chief Edwards. Am I right? Chief Edwards is at Virginia Union College. He's the chief of police over there. He's a member of the organization. It's the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives. I just love the name, right? And they do a lot of things that people know nothing about. You're like quiet warriors. Right? Yes. But how you doing today, Chief?
I'm doing fantastic.
Okay, I'm glad you could make it down. And we're gonna get going. When Chief Guidry gets here, we'll just bring him on and continue the conversation. But what we're gonna start out with is a problem that is nationwide. Got a lot of attention, especially in the last couple of months with Trayvon and with this other young man who's gotten shot again by the police. And there's so much of that going on, and it's not necessary. There's things that you can do, and I hate to say it, but as black youth, you are going to get stopped somewhere along the line. And it's not that people are after you, it's the way you carry yourself. And I think the chiefs, both of them, will be able to give you a little bit of insight into the do's and don'ts of dealing with law enforcement. Now, I don't want to put the chief on the spot, and he's not going to tell you that if you follow these strict rules, you won't get arrested. If you're not right, you're gonna get arrested. Okay, but even with that, there's still a way that you deal with law enforcement. So Chief, if you don't mind, I'm gonna kind of get you started talking about the organization.
All right.
And basically what you're doing, then we can get into some detail.
Well, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives have been in existence since 1976. I want to make sure, I'm almost certain of that date. It started back in a consortium in Washington, D.C. Back then with some of the black law enforcement and black educators and executives nationwide that wanted to address issues in the black community. And that kind of sprang up Noble, if you will. And I personally, along with Chief Guidry, are members of the Central Virginia chapter of Noble. And we have done a lot of community service with Noble, going out into the community and talking to civic groups, young people, which is one of the things, Ed, I think that you wanted us to discuss today. This program that we do called The Law and You.
The Law and You. Okay.
It's a program that Noble initiated along with some other partners, I believe Allstate and some other entities that were part of this thing to be able to go into communities and talk to young people about what to do when they encounter or they're having some interaction with a law enforcement officer. The do's and don'ts.
Yeah. Okay.
What should you do? What shouldn't you do when you have some encounter with law enforcement? And it's been a very, very popular program, which we have been doing for quite some time.
Tell us about it.
Again, the Law and You program, what we try to do is we go in and we talk to them, talk to students, we talk to young people, and we talk to civic groups as well. It initially was geared for the young people.
Yeah.
But we've kind of changed it so that we can talk to everybody about what you should do when you have interaction with a law enforcement officer. And a lot of times, young people specifically don't know what to do or what not to do. We want to make sure that everybody understands what their rights are, what they can and what they can't say to law enforcement, and we want to make sure that everybody understands, especially our young people, because we're having so many issues out here now in the community with some of the young people, but overall, our young people are very, very good people. Don't get that wrong.
Hello, caller. You're gonna have to turn your TV down. Turn your TV down. Maybe we can hear you a little better. Do that and call back, okay? I want to hear what you have to say. Okay, and I think we can put the phone number up. That caller, hey, it must be a regular. Thank you. I'm looking for you to call back, okay? And you said that our young people are not.
Yeah, our young people, I guess a lot of times and are exposed to so much nowadays with the advent of the internet and social media networks and things of this nature. And again, they need to understand what they should and shouldn't do when they're having some kind of interaction with law enforcement, especially when they're out partying or they're standing somewhere interacting with their peers and things of that nature. And a police officer comes up on them and want to know what's going on, that they shouldn't be adversarial with that officer and things of that nature. Surely they can ask questions like any citizen because they are citizens.
Right.
They can ask why they're being talked to by the police, things of that nature. So,
but there's a way to do it. That's
yes.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Again, if you're adversarial with law enforcement.
Hold on 1 minute, caller.
If you're adversarial with law enforcement, then sometimes that might be reciprocated back. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but sometimes that may happen.
Yeah, I got you. Hi, caller. How you doing?
Hi, are you listening?
Yeah, you're on. Go right ahead.
Okay, I just want to say what a fine job you're doing for the community. You you and your visitor. I'm really enjoying the show, and you've made a great contribution to Richmond.
I appreciate that, caller. Thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Right.
Bye-bye.
That was nice.
Yes.
All right, now let's let's say that it's probably the chief. Let's say that we're right here by Virginia, VCU.
Virginia Common Community.
Yeah. All right. The kids are out as they are. They're out playing, hanging outside. I'm playing. They're older than playing, but you know they're having a great time. But they're making a lot of noise, and someone complains. So they call the police. Now the police come. What would happen next? What would be the next thing?
You know, in any college community, USA, you have that kind of scenario you just talked about, Ed. You talk about those situations where you have students that are out kind of having a good time, making a little noise, not so much getting rowdy, but just making a little noise, and somebody calling. The police respond, and there may be somebody in that crowd that may be a little adversarial with that officer. And that kind of creates another problem when that happens. You know, what we try to do in the law enforcement community is separate these people out, these individuals out, and talk to them. We try to do that, especially on the university campus, or for that matter, even the VA hospital, or in the Richmond, Henrico, Chesterfield communities. You want to talk to them and tell them what they can and can't do. Try to get them to reduce the noise a little bit. We understand that students are going to be students, but and we don't want to be adversarial. A lot of times we'll explain to them what the law is as it pertains to noise ordinances, if you will, those type of things. And again, there are some that may be a bit adversarial.
Yeah.
And that's where the Law and You program comes in. And when you talk about that, what they should and shouldn't do, when they're talking to a police officer on the street.
Well, that's a tough job.
Yes.
Just explaining to them, because our young folks kind of have minds that are a little bit different than that. All right. Our other buddy is in. Chief Guidry just came in, and we'll introduce you to him. And he's a member of this excellent organization also. I met him out at, I'm out at the VA hospital quite a bit. And I don't know whether it's from TV or from being in Special Forces, but I watch my surroundings. And I saw this very well-dressed, distinguished-looking gentleman, and I noticed something. He was doing the same thing. He was watching, and I'm watching him watching. I said, maybe I should just go over and say hello. So I walked over and I said hello, and we started chatting and conversating. The next thing I know, he explained to me who he was. And I said, well, I know how to pick them. Right? Well, Chief Guidry, thank you for getting here and coming on tonight. And you brought your friend on and co-member of this organization, Noble. I mean, this is kind of interesting what you guys do.
Yes, Chief Edwards is one of the founding members of a founding member of our local organization.
See, now you didn't brag about that.
So he has a very strong background on what Noble is all about. He's been with it a long time. He's especially for me with what we do here in Central Virginia, and instrumental in a lot of things that we've accomplished. Noble's a national organization, but Central Virginia is one of the most active ones, and it's because of people like Carlton who's made it that way.
That's nice, very nice. Now, how long have you been in the organization? I love your background.
Yes.
Let me just tell them one thing. We hear so much about the southern states, and you never would think that a state like Florida, with all the controversy, would have a black chief of police for the Florida Highway Patrol.
I'm a retired chief of the Florida Highway Patrol, yes, sir.
You go, guy. I think that's our standard, right? I think that's our standard. So now you know why they say black law enforcement executives, because all of the members, I believe, are either chiefs or...
The Noble members can be, we have some that's not police, not in law enforcement, but to be a regular member, like Chief Edwards and I, you have to be the rank of lieutenant or higher, or what's equal in the federal agencies, whatever's equal to a lieutenant. Sergeants and below, they can be associate members. Because they're the people we mentor. They're going to be us one of these days, running the organization. But back to your question, I began with Noble in Miami in 1989. I was invited to a meeting by another trooper who was. We were both sergeants at the time. But back in those days, as Carlton, like I do, Noble charged you based on your rank, and the highest person, whoever the highest ranking black in your organization, paid the most, and the rest of us paid less. So we were both sergeants. So he invited me over to a Noble meeting in Miami, and I've been a member ever since. And I've served in Miami, Orlando, Tallahassee, and here with Noble in different capacities.
Now, Chief Guidry, as I said to you, is chief of police out at the VA hospital, and has a great job. I mean, you guys do a great job, and I'm
Thank
always
you.
bragging about the hospital, but that's one side of it that most people don't even think about, that you'd have a police force. And
Yes.
trust me, at a VA hospital, you need one.
Yes,
You
yes,
do?
unfortunately, you definitely do.
Yeah. Well, Chief Edwards was explaining some about the lectures that you guys give. He got to the point of getting ready to tell us how to act when we are in a situation where it requires some law enforcement involvement.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, Ed, earlier, we want our young people not to be afraid or reluctant or hesitant about talking to law enforcement. We want them to feel comfortable when police come around.
Absolutely.
You know, we don't want this. We don't want anything to be adversarial with surely with not our young people, but the community at large.
At large, yeah.
Yeah, we you know, because that's not what law enforcement is about. We're here to help people. We're here to help the community. We're not here to arrest people, even though sometimes those things happen. But in terms of the interaction that the constituents or the citizens have with law enforcement is the reason why the program, The Law on You, came into existence. What to do? What rights do citizens have when a law enforcement or a police officer talk to you?
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the rights that you have and don't have when a police officer is talking to you. Now, you just stopped me.
Okay.
And first thing I want to know is, why'd you stop me?
All right. Here's the question that a lot of people will ask. You say, well, why did you stop me?
Yeah.
You are perfectly within your rights to ask that question.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of times I think citizens don't understand that you can ask that question. Officer, why did you stop me?
Okay. All right.
Yes, and that is a valid question that, as a trooper, I've been asked several times throughout my career. But you got to also remember that the officers don't know who they're talking to. So they may say, let me see your identification so I know who I'm talking to. So you have to be patient both ways to understand that you get the driver's license so you know who you're talking to, make sure that's the person, and then they'll explain to you, or should explain to you, why they stopped and what's going to occur at the traffic stop.
So what now, as career officers yourselves, is there a common situation that comes up that you can actually train some of your people to be prepared for, and maybe when you're talking to the groups, you explain to them this is one of the things you should do or shouldn't do?
You want to talk about
And I don't know if I framed it right.
I think if I'm hearing you right, Ed, what we do when we do the Law on You program, we do scenarios.
Okay.
We actually do that. We have interaction with the citizens and the students and young people, and we set up situations where you may be the officer may interact with that group, and we show them what to do and the what not to do. As I spoke about earlier, we talk to them and we play through it.
Okay.
And that works out. That works pretty good, because a lot of times when you can play it out, you can get a feel.
People can see it
for what you should and shouldn't do. For example, sometimes we will put, matter of fact, not sometimes, a lot of times we will put the participants of our talk in the role of the police officer.
Ah, interesting.
Right?
Okay,
And we kind of
let's
give
show you how
them
it feels, right?
we kind of give them a quick lesson on police work.
Okay.
And I know that's not right, but we got to give them that quick lesson on police work and what they should and tell them what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing, and let them go from there.
And you know what's strange is he can tell you a lot of times you put them in that police officer position, they're tougher than a police officer would have been.
Yes.
But see, now that to me would translate into what their impression.
Exactly.
Yes.
It definitely
is,
does.
right.
And for a police officer, we also, in their academy and our other training, once you get out, you have to continue to train all the time. We send them through scenarios where it's in the academy where police officers come up and yell and scream at you. I mean, it's role play. We do the same role play with our police officers, where people come up there, you set up a traffic stop, and they'll charge you out of the car, they'll curse you, they call your names, all that, to try to get our officers to get used to it and know how to react without overreacting. So that's some training that we do as well.
Now, being you, both of you are basically in institutions.
Correct.
You're working, and you at the college, you with the. Have you seen any differences in the things that are going on criminally around the university? I know we're hearing a lot about the robberies and stuff around VCU, but as in general, has the crime situation gotten worse or better in the last 10 years, let's say?
Well, on the university campus, at least at Virginia Union University, we have not seen any increases in criminal activity. Now, theft, larceny,
Yes.
are the problems that occur in any locality. That's the major issue that you're dealing with, thefts. In terms of robberies and so forth, Virginia Commonwealth University is sitting, it's an open campus that's sitting in the heart of the city of Richmond, so it's not like a Virginia Union with a gate around it.
Yeah.
And we can we know who's not supposed to be there and who's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
VCU, unfortunately, is dealing with that, and you got students and people moving about at all times of the day.
And there's no control
And night.
factor.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
And what about in your situation?
Well, at the hospital, we have the similar situation that Virginia Union does. We're gated.
Yeah.
And we close the gate in the evening at 7 o'clock. So now we know who's supposed to be there. Overall, over the last year, our crime has decreased, but that's due to diligence of some of our officers, and we've done some different ways that we do our schedule. We put more people working when more people there. You know, the hospital has most of our people there between 8 and 4. When people like you come there for your visits and stuff like that. After 6 o'clock at night, it's kind of very slow.
Quiet, yeah.
So we don't need as many. So we took a couple off that shift, brought them to the day shift. What does that do? That gives visibility. And visibility is one of the greatest crime deterrents that there is. And so that's what we try to do. And we've seen a reduction, and I hear, as the police chief, as you know, I walk around a lot at the hospital.
Quite a bit, and those eyes are going.
Yes,
too.
I hear quite a bit, you know, that people say, y'all must got a new officer position, because we see them more often. And it's not just how we assigned our personnel.
And you feel very secure.
Yes, that's our goal.
My wife got it for the first time that she went out there with me. She got a kick of the sign, no guns or knives allowed.
Yes.
Well,
and we take that serious.
What do you expect, right? You know?
Yes, we do. And Chief Edwards will tell you this. One of the things about safe is you want people to feel safe.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
If you make them feel safe, which is what our goals are, then you are being successful, because eventually the bad guys will catch them if they're there. You know, and they will start hopefully decreasing over time.
Let me ask this, because again, as you know, I'm always promoting the military. You know,
Yes.
and I really wish they'd bring the draft back, to tell you the truth. I think when they stopped that, they just created a vacuum that hasn't been filled, because the draft took young men and put them in a situation where they learned.
They made them. They took young men and made them really men.
Men, right now it's
Yes.
gone. So
Yes.
there's a complete vacuum there, and you in law enforcement, I'm sure, have recognized that vacuum because you have a whole like 2 or 3 generations who have nothing to do.
Exactly.
They have absolutely nothing to do, which is again what I was telling you. And I didn't tell you, we did get approval to go into the different schools in Richmond and talk to the principals about starting karate classes.
Okay.
Because martial arts training. And it was so we had a meeting yesterday morning, a breakfast meeting, 8 o'clock in the morning, but it was a good meeting. And we decided, before we had talked about going into the middle schools and starting, but in the meeting yesterday, we determined that we should start in the elementary schools.
Okay.
And start them at 7 years old, because if we start in the middle school, certain patterns have already been started.
Yeah, I agree.
So now we don't have. We start at 7 years old. We don't have to untrain.
Yes.
We're just starting from scratch, and like you said, you have to build replacements. I mean, what happens when we're gone?
That's right.
All right. So martial arts training, documented. It does increase that. Hello, Carlton. Thank you for calling. And how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine.
Got a question for us?
Well, I was calling because I do work at the McGuire Bay Medical Center, and I just wanted to say that we do have the best police at the VA. And the chief, he's a very nice fellow, and he does walk around, and he conversates with the employees and the patients. So he's really looking out for the VA hospital.
There you go.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, Carl. I'm sure the
Thank
chief
you.
appreciates
We
you
definitely
hearing
appreciate
that.
it.
And I appreciate you watching and calling in. Thank you. You have any other questions while we got you on?
No, that's it. I just wanted to say that I feel very safe at the VA.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. All right. Thank you, caller.
You're welcome.
Yeah. See, that
was
shows
very
you.
nice.
Yeah. When you have people calling and telling you how much they like you, because I know you can get some real ugly stuff too.
Yes, we do.
Yes, you do.
we do.
But
You try to not to let that affect you, though.
now, what's coming? What's coming for your organization in the future? And before that, even how does a group get your group to come in and talk to them?
Well, to get us to come talk to you, all you got to do is call us and make a request. And you can call me, or you can call usually the president, Morris Roberson, and make a request. And typically, Carlton tell you better. They done these a lot more than I have. We don't turn anybody down. We try to find the people. We call people like Carlton who actually know how to do it, and we never have a problem with people volunteering to come talk to the kids. It's something they really enjoy doing.
And what's the best scenario? And at a school in an auditorium situation, or big group, small group?
Well, you know, we've done it. We've done them all. We've done large groups, small group, medium groups, right across the spectrum of people, church groups. We've done it all. We like to do the students because we want them to understand. Those are the ones that we interact with a lot, and we want them to understand what they should and shouldn't do when they have interaction with law enforcement. I personally prefer medium-sized groups of about 30, no more than 40 people, because we get to more people when we do that.
There's a control factor. I mean, it's not that you're not trying to talk to the masses. You know, it's a lot easier.
We've done this, believe it or not, we've done this all across this country. In places, and just had rave reviews all across this country with our Law and You program. And we think, and we know rather, that the students and the young people that we talk to, they really get something out of this, especially when we do those role plays.
Yes.
Have you ever spoken in jail?
Yes. We believe it or not, we've been there as well. We've been to detention centers.
Okay.
Juvenile detention centers.
About Richmond City Jail?
We've been down to Richmond juvenile detention center.
You're mostly working with the juveniles?
Yeah, mostly
Yes.
with the juveniles. We hadn't done it with the adults. We've done it more with the juveniles because just like you referred to earlier, we want to get them early. We want to get them when they're young and impressionable.
And can set the pattern for them for the rest of their life. But you know, it's so hard, and there's a personal observation. These youngsters have so many negative things thrown at them as part of the good time. You know, it's cool, you know, to walk around, you know, with the pants thing and the whole bit. And they seem to think that they know everything. You can't really talk to them because I don't need it, you know. And you know, Chris Rock's joke about if you want to hide something from a black man, hide it in a book.
Yes.
Okay. Well, because we deal with youngsters also with our Transforming Today's Youth organization, and with our karate. I almost started to say ministry, but it's not. In a way, it is, but it's working with young people. But I mean, you know, you look around. I was in a restaurant, and I said this last week on the show, and we were looking at a table, 5 people at the table, and all 5 of them were on their phone.
Yes.
Hello, caller.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm enjoying the conversation. This is Sylvia.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, my darling. How's your beautiful wife?
Oh, she's doing great. Thank you.
Okay, now let's get to business.
All right.
The children.
Mm-hmm.
What? There's no more mothers and fathers. There's no more grandma. And if they're decent little boys or girls trying to get a job, there's no transportation. And God knows Tall Hammers and Millen Road is not on Broad Street anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They got to go out in the counties. They blocked that. There's no transportation to get them out there, Ed.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Well,
Nobody's helping them.
it's starting to change as we speak, and these 2
Oh, Lord
gentlemen
Jesus.
are representatives of
What are the churches here for?
Well, they're working
What
on
are
it.
they here for, Ed?
With the-
See, the chickens is coming home to roost here now. You understand?
I do.
Now these children is hurting. They're 29 and 30 years old and can't even read Broad Street 6 bus.
Isn't it amazing?
See, this is sad. God is not pleased. So I bless you, brothers. And I hope and pray. You know, I just don't know how people sleep at night with this going on.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
going to get worse.
You think so, huh?
Yes, sir. We're in Revelation.
Okay, all right.
I'll say good night, gentlemen.
Thank you for the call. Thanks for watching, too.
She watches a regular viewer.
Okay.
And she watches, and she does what she's saying about it getting worse. It just might because the economics. The economy is getting ready to really bottom out. And nobody seems to recognize that, you know. This thing is going shh, and the reason for it is, here I go with my philosophy again. Okay, the dollar. The United States dollar has been the medium of exchange financially in the world for 100 years?
Mm-hmm.
For the first time ever, oil was traded without the US dollar. The Chinese bought oil from the Russians using the Chinese dollar. You know what that's going to do? If that happens to us, it's going to crash the whole economy, because the economy, the dollar right now is not worth anything. You know, you used to be able to go in and change your dollar for a silver dollar. You try it now, okay? The dollar's not even worth that silver dollar.
Yeah, but you know, I don't think can Noble through this program believe that we still can save our kids by being proactive.
Organizations like this.
Organizations. We have to be proactive, be out there reaching out to them, letting them know. One of the things that Noble's goals is Carlton said it earlier, we don't want them to be afraid of police.
Right.
We want to mend this bridge that's been built between the
Pigs.
African American community and the police.
You know,
Because we're from that community. We have not abandoned that community.
that's very.
So
That's what you just said.
yes.
You need to say it again because a lot of people look at the police as the enemy.
We're not the enemy. It's unfortunate a lot of times when people see us, it's because we're called to a call for service. Somebody's a victim of a crime of some type, and that's why we're there. And that's what they forget, that we do have a job to do, as Carlton said earlier, on the campus and at the Veterans Hospital. He and I, we share the same philosophy.
Sure.
We do a little different there than they do in Richmond and Chesterfield. Because our belief is you can get compliance without arresting people all the time.
Interesting.
There's a different way of getting compliance. Communication is the key. I walk around and talk to people because I can't see from sitting in the office looking at the wall.
You're out,
or listening
right.
to a computer, looking at the computer. So we want the people to know our style is, hey, I'm here, you can talk to me if you have a problem, if you need something, you can talk to me. That's what Noble is doing with these kids. We're reaching out to them saying, hey, here we are, you can talk to us. If you got a problem, even if you get into a situation where you may think that the police did wrong, those guys came here, they said we could always talk. You know somebody you can call and ask for guidance.
Very interesting. Okay,
Yes.
what is the number? Because we've said that a couple of times, but we haven't said the number to call.
Well, there's not a specific number because while we have a local chapter, there's not a office where you can call a number to speak to someone. But I'm quite sure. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
He's correct, but what I will give you is my number.
Yeah.
That's very nice of you.
It's 804-675-5132.
Say it one more time.
804-675-5132. And if I can't help you, we'll find somebody, because I have contact with Carlton and all the other people that's local, and we can help you out.
And if I may, I'm going to echo something that Kevin said as well. I'm a bit of an optimist as well. I believe that our children are here, our young people are good people. These are good folks. Some of them are just straying a little bit, and it needs to be someone like us. And even I'm going to throw my colleagues in from the municipal police departments as well, because they do a good job at going into the community. Chief Tarasovich, Chief Middleton, and Chief Chesterfield. Dupree. Terry Dupree in Chesterfield, and my colleagues in Hanover Sheriff's Office as well, in Petersburg, which has our national president, John Dixon.
Is Sheriff Woody part of this
And Sheriff Woody, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sheriff Woody is a part of Noble and works hard.
State police.
Yeah, state police, superintendent, Captain Lynn Terry was part of our organization. Do a very good job we work together in the Richmond community to provide for our young people and try to keep them on that straight path, whether they're in a college environment or otherwise.
How does an organization get in touch with you to come out and speak? Would that be calling you also, Chief?
That's fine. I'm the vice president of the local organization. Yes, they can call me for that as well.
Go ahead with your bad self. This guy, he comes out with them one after the other. That's great. Okay, so that you got that number again. I think you said 675-5132?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, 804-675-5132. And is there a charge for you folks coming out to talk?
No
charge.
So
it's a privilege.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Yes. See what I mean? Outstanding. Okay. So you're hearing this. It's something that needs to be in just about every community that we can think of, because there is someone in every community that needs to hear what you guys are talking about, number one. Number two, you have any other tips while we're sitting here now and you have an audience? If getting pulled over by a cop.
When you get pulled over by a cop, regardless of whether state police or local, you got to remember they have a job to do, and professionalism goes both ways.
Yeah.
You know, be kind, listen to them, give them an opportunity to explain why they're there. Many times it's how you set the tone when they come up there is how the end results could be. Because respect goes both ways. I have seen, I worked at the college campus before I came to VA hospital. And sometimes I have seen, I've talked to a lot of young kids because I watch how they interacted with the police, and I go up to them and explain to them what they did wrong, how they could make the whole situation, how they made the situation worse, and they could have made it a lot better by doing one simple thing. For instance, you go park by a fire hydrant because you feel like you want to run inside to get your gym shorts. You got a police officer sitting right there looking at you. Now, and I said, look, what could you have done to make this easier? Go up to the police officer, sir, I just need to run inside real quick. Is it okay if I park here? I know it's not right. I'll be back in 10 seconds. And you are most times probably going to get a positive result from that.
Absolutely.
Communications.
All right, so again, the police are not the enemy, okay? Because it's almost like a us against them
We're
mentality.
public servants.
The popo,
Absolutely.
you know?
We're public servants. Today's police chief, and we know all of them in the Central Virginia area pretty well. We believe strongly in that word customer service. We believe strongly in treating our people that we serve with all the due respect.
You
that we
know,
can.
now see the public in general, and somebody call me and tell me if I'm right about this. They never hear or get to see this side of the police department, okay? Unless there's somebody that is in the audience where you're talking. And see, the problem that I have in trying to get the message out, as they say, now we're on TV right now. I have a following, but I bet you that most of the people that are looking are not the people that are confrontational with
Correct.
the police or whatnot.
Correct.
You know, the problem is to get what you're saying, what I'm saying, what the other people in the community who are being positive to the people that need to hear it.
Yes.
All right. Now, again, I go back to when I volunteered. Sheriff Woody let me come into the jail and talk to the guys every Friday. I'd bring in guest speakers. God bringing guys like you to come in and talk to the inmates and whatnot. And in the first couple of visits, I said, I'm trying to create advocates because I can't go out on the block and stand. I mean, I can go, but nobody's going to listen to me because
right.
who are you? You know.
Yes.
But you guys coming out now, you're heroes on the block.
You got
now,
credibility.
Oh yeah, hey, you the man now, and you didn't give up anybody, so you straight up and this, that, and the other. But you can be advocates. And guess what? It worked. I was telling you about the group Roots that was founded in Richmond City Jail by a group of guys who decided that they were sick and tired of being in the situation, and they didn't want to see any more young men come in.
Correct.
And the name of the organization, you guys, if you're looking, if anybody of you is paying attention to your mentor, it's Roots, reinventing ourselves outside of the system. Now that's the only group of as we say, returning citizens, but the real word is ex-cons, who are allowed to go back into the jail and mentor prisoners. And since they started doing this, and since actually the Belief program, which you're probably familiar with, that Sheriff Woody has at the jail, since the Belief program has been in effect, and the education program, because he has a whole tier of inmates who want to do better. They want to go to school. So he's got a whole tier, education tier. But the people that get out from those two tiers, recidivism has gone down. I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's down to 14%.
Wow, that's
which
good.
is fantastic.
That is real good.
Which is fantastic to see it. If I'm not right, okay, if I said 50%, we're still doing
better.
Right?
We're doing good.
But they're very serious about it. They're very diligent about it. And I was at the VA today. I didn't see you today when I was out there.
Yes, I was
but
there.
I saw one. Oh yeah, they told me you were walking around up front. But a guy called me, and I turned around and I looked. I won't say his name, but if he's watching, it was a pleasure seeing you, and it was a real pleasure listening to you bragging about how well you're doing. and thanking me. And I mean, it makes you feel good to
That
know
makes a good feeling.
that it does work. It is working. And I mean, this guy, he said, Mr. Coleman, I have been straight for over a year.
Okay.
He said,
That's
no
good.
drinking, no drugs at all, no alcohol, nothing. I'm working, family, and he said, and I thank you. I thank you.
That's right.
You know, I thank you because it says, well, we're getting into the last section here. You guys now, I've been talking and talking and talking. Is there any message or anything you'd like to get out? I had asked you what's coming. Do you have anything special coming up in the next couple of months you want to get the word out on?
No, we don't have anything planned. We come up to the holiday seasons and it's pretty slow. I know the first of the year we are doing a Law and You at a local church. I don't have the name and the address that we're doing it in. I think it's around February 3rd.
Could you let me know?
Yes.
Okay, because I'd like to hear it. I'd like to
Yes.
come out and hear what you do.
But if we have opportunity to do it between now and then, we'll be glad to do it as well. But that's the next request that we have. We got
Okay.
it yesterday.
Okay,
Yes.
good deal. So audience out there, I know a lot of you, see most of my viewers are friends naturally, but
Yes.
organization people, the links, people like that, because my wife is so active, as you know.
Yes.
She will definitely get involved. I think that this would be good for them to hear, and because they're in the schools. They participate
Yeah.
in the schools and whatnot.
And I think it'd be good for some of the organizations here because then they have other contacts that we can go out and reach out to. We want to reach out to the community as much as we can, for they know who we are and know what we offer, and so we can start working closer with the community on other issues that we may be able to help with.
Okay, that sounds great. Tell me something.
Well,
good, Chief.
while I don't have anything coming up or on my neck of the woods other than this Saturday coming up, we do have the Community Bowl, the Lucille Brown Community Bowl at Virginia Union University. I will say that, shameless plug.
Let them know. That's what we're here for. Right?
I will, Chief Guidry just made a comment about coming into the holiday season, and I would offer this to your viewers. Some basic crime prevention tips.
Okay.
When you're out shopping, just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. I mean, simple things
Yes.
that we talk about, but we really don't pay attention to. Be aware of your surroundings with all those wonderful gifts and holiday bags. And if something looks unusual or out of place to you, then guess what? It probably is.
Correct.
It's out of place. Call the police or the security or whatever it is, wherever you are, at whatever mall you may be at or whatever place you may be at. Call the police and let them check it out. Don't become a victim of a crime. And I think I echo this for all of my colleagues, my chief of police colleagues in the Richmond metro area, that we don't want anybody to be a victim of a crime. So pay attention, please. That's whether or not you're going home, you're coming away from home, or whatever you're doing, shopping, or whatever you're doing. College students leaving to go home for the holiday season we're coming up on. We'll be at Thanksgiving before we know it, and those type of things.
Amazing.
And
Yes,
don't
yes.
drink and drive. I
No.
offer those things out there too.
Critical. That's critical. And I'm glad you said that because it's almost like people, young folks, think that that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
They think that that's just part of, we're supposed to do this. And I laugh. We have a blended family. So
Yes.
it goes from 48 years old down to 2 years old. All right? So my son is 48.
Yeah.
And I knock on wood. Eddie Jr., not one problem at all.
That's good.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Ed, I'm calling back. I still say these people are hungry out here. Now, right is right. Right is right. A hungry man or a hungry child is a dangerous person. It is not right what's going on here on the plantation. Now, we got a lot of buildings that just sitting there. Why can't somebody open up a blue jean factory or a T-shirt, something clean? Don't have to be no sodas or drugs. Just something. We didn't have this before. We used to have beautiful shopping. Nobody snatching nobody's bags and things. These people are hungry. They see nothing. They see nothing in the future.
Well, I'm going to talk.
A hungry person is a dangerous person. I don't want them taking advantage of this to build up the jail system.
Oh, yeah.
See, nobody's crazy now. We know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
This
yeah.
is wrong.
All right, we're going to
This
talk
is
about
wrong.
that.
God bless you.
All right, thank you.
And she's talking about how the prison business, the prison corporation,
Yes.
and if you have a business, you have to have clients. So I mean, young people need to be aware of the fact that they are potential clients.
They are, but I think, again, I worked at a university system before. I think the universities especially do a great job of trying to do other things other than taking them to jail. Because the chiefs there, they understand that these are kids. I have a college daughter that's in college.
I have a grandson in
Yes.
college.
So they're kids and they're going to make mistakes, and we don't want their whole future to be decided by a mistake that we could have handled just a little different. And I think most colleges are actually doing that these days.
Well, I had the opportunity, I guess privilege would be the right word, to address the incoming freshmen at Virginia Union. Last year, the president spoke first and I spoke second. And then we did our karate demonstration because I'm a firm believer in that training, building character and building self-respect and respect for others along with self-esteem. A lot of the problems that we have with the youngsters nowadays is low self-esteem.
Yes.
Okay, they're not, as the young lady just said, they're not being parented. I've been doing this now for over 50 years. I know I don't look that old.
No.
but I can see myself having done it more than one time. One time was too many. But going home to third and fourth generation drug addicts.
Yes.
Okay? So the iPad is the babysitter, or the television is the babysitter. And what are they looking at? BET.
Oh, yes.
With all of the gangster stuff and whatnot. So when you see, I'm in Walmart and I see a mother or a father coming in with a kid who's got a mohawk haircut or got all of this crap. What are you teaching this youngster?
Yeah, but I think it's different. I'm the second of 8 kids my parents raised, and we had one TV growing up. We sat there in the living room, watch what we as a family watched. And my kids grew up in a society that they had their own TVs in their own rooms, and it kind of created, it got isolated, and that sometimes have raised our kids. The TV, like you say, like the TVs rather than the parents, and we somehow have to still get involved in their lives, even though we give those luxuries. You still got to be involved.
Very
you
much
still
so.
got to let them know that you're there for them and guide them, and we luckily we do that because we have 3 kids and they give us no trouble.
I find, and we're on the countdown for real, but I find, we work with kids. Like I said, transforming today's youth. Last year we had 50 students and 20 mentors. In fact, next week I'm going to try to get 3 of the brand new mentors from Virginia. It might be Virginia State that they're coming from, but who have volunteered to be mentors and whatnot. We teach the martial arts, the Henrico Dojo, for any of you that are interested. We're getting ready to start self-defense classes for women, which is something that we'll go out to the organization's place and teach martial arts. You guys had 3 state champions last year.
Oh, okay.
And the college, nobody knows, but you had 3 state champions.
We teach that defensive tactics for women.
At the hospital?
Yes.
If you ever need any of us to come out, we volunteer to come out and help you, just like you volunteer to come out and help in the community.
I'll hook you up with Lieutenant John Buck. He's a karate guy.
Well, I think you do know Sensei Clarence Folks from the Sheriff's Department, 33 years of training law enforcement. He trained law enforcement and kids forever. But in fact, there's a tournament coming up on the 10th any of you that would like to participate, just go online to enricodojo.com, and the information is there. You can be a participant. You can come in and go on board and try to get some of these 8-foot trophies that we're going to be giving out.
Wow.
I want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming out, taking time. I know you have pretty long, rough days, and it sure is nice that you take the time to come in and get this word out. I really appreciate that. And you and I are going to talk about Noble. All right?
Absolutely.
I'd like to sit in on one of your meetings, too.
Absolutely, and we want to thank you for inviting us here tonight.
Yes.
This definitely was enjoyable for me, and I know it was for Chief Edwards, and anything we can do to help you in the future. And we invite you and your listeners to be a part of Noble.
That's real nice. That's real nice. That's real nice.
We're always looking for members, and we'd be glad to have you a part of our organization.
Well, we will talk about that, definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I did not bring the poster in, but I do have to remind you about my wife's book, the new book, Welcome Home Veteran. The book has become very, very popular. In fact, the law agency of Steve Cantinelli, God bless Steve Cantinelli, he knows about the stand down on the 15th. He knows about that. He's contributing books, our books. He's bought $300 worth. I'll tell Steve, I hope you don't mind me giving that number out, but I thought that was a really nice gesture, because these guys that are coming in, and I'll tell you once again, if you know any veteran that's homeless, that needs any kind of help at all, that's the day to come in, November the 15th, call it Stand Down. Homeless veterans, you need to get cleaned up. You can come in, get showers, get your hair cut, get your teeth cleaned, get your shots, all of that kind of stuff. And we're also looking for you to come in and register to see what benefits you have coming. There's a whole lot of you guys and ladies that are walking around out here unaware that you have help. You are part of the U.S. military. That's the biggest corporation in the world. They will look out for you, but they have to know. You have to go in and register. And the TV piece that you're going to be seeing starting probably next week, they'll start running on this channel, is a whole tour of the hospital and a whole conversation about what you need to do to get your benefits, to get the help that you might need, that you earned, and it's a good thing. Thank you for watching. Tune in next week. That'll be our last week, so it'll probably be a madhouse in here. I just invited everybody to come. If you want to come on, this is the last show for my 6-week run for this time. We thank Comcast for giving us the opportunity to do this.
Yes.
Okay, and you guys, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for the invite.
Well, I'll be seeing you.
Yes.
All right, and I might be able to. I have to leave when I leave here now. I have to go to Virginia Union because my wife's at the book signing at the library.
That's your way.
Yeah, tonight.
Okay.
Right. So I have to go over there, and I get a chance to see the president and his wife. They're doing a real nice job out there at the college.